well, it's another day and we've got more stuff to do and there's more mess. So in case you haven't been following these videos, I bought a 6-wheel drive ambulance. It's also kind of windy and hard to see. So what I just said is I bought a 6-wheel drive ambulance. In fact, I actually bought it for my wife. Now we have made a temporary setup in here. We've done a couple of short trips. Looks like a bomb's hit it. So tomorrow I have to go and get a jab in the arm for a couple of hours at the cancer center for my infusion of Tisabri for multiple sclerosis. So I want to try and set up a few creature comforts because we'll be taking this for the trip. And then about a week after that, we're going for a Tank Adventures camp for 2 days up to South Gippsland Tank Adventures. And I want to set up some creature comforts. Now, a couple of things that I've done since the last video is this guy here. I now fixed that hitch so it locks. I bought a combination of pintle ball and found that it didn't fit the hole. And so in the end we decided we didn't really need to take toe balls on this, just pintle rings. So these hitches originally had a pair of forks here that would clip or would lock into place with a pin to stop it rotating. So we just whacked a couple of bits of steel and 2 bolts in the absence of being able to find a pair of forks. That caused a bit of a stink on the Perentie Owners Australia page or Facebook page because some people were all concerned about that not moving. Well, I've modified my trailers so the ring spins. Now, just because some people are likely to argue it on this video, my reasoning for doing this is, one, it was designed to do it. The latches on here were actually designed to take that rotational force. The rotational force on that will be very minimal unless something seriously goes wrong, which it shouldn't. And if my trailer flips over, the lunette ring spins so the trailer will turn over and not take the vehicle with it. So yeah, now being that this is on a footstep and I've got my wife and child climbing up here all the time and myself, at some point somebody's going to use that as a footstep in the dark and it would probably roll over and somebody would break their ankle or potentially worse as they come down. So that's a safety thing. And yes, I could have put a fixed hitch in there and that's what the pintle ball was supposed to be and it didn't fit. Anyway, that's out of the way. What have we got today? So now we have a little donated projector. Now this is not by any means a high resolution projector, but it should be enough to watch some kid shows or a movie that we've seen before. I have in here Raspberry Pi 3. This is left over from another job. That will drive the video source. I have a HDMI cable, 5-volt regulator, some leads, and somewhere I've got a Bluetooth speaker. We have another little, a smaller, more compact JBL speaker we'll put in here. I'm going to connect it directly with that because the HDMI pass-through on that thing is horrible. Now that, if we do things right, we're going to fit up under here. But like anything in this, there's always something else I've got to do. Previous owners have started to try and strip out this air conditioner and they took all the screws out of this. So we need to probably put a few more screws back in here. Unfortunately, we don't have them. I need to find something that will do that job temporarily. But more pressing is I've taken this panel off and I intend on replacing a flasher can in here. And I've got some screws that I need to confirm are the right thread to fit that because half of these screws are so rusted I can't even get a screwdriver in them. So when they come out, they're staying out. I'm going to put some new ones in. So there's still ongoing stuff. There's also some quirky bits like these lights work and I managed to put LEDs in the map lights. So that's nice. But I've got a quirk like this one intermittently doesn't work. I'm not sure why that is. This guy does though. So yeah, there's lots of things up. That in this shelf up here, that would be the little Bluetooth speaker, the Blue Ant. It's not a JBL. It does the job in here anyway. So we've got quite a bit to do. Anyway, I'm going to go and find my drill, which I think is hiding up in here. and some screws and see if I can secure that roof lining a little better. Alright, so we were near a sandy area. Of course my apprentice has been busy in the sand, so we need to sweep this all out. At least it's pretty easy to do in this. We have a hatch in the floor down here that we can tip stuff out. What do we got? There's apprentice socks, rusty H1 globe, a bunch of spare nuts and bolts, stuff I probably shouldn't throw out, things that I really do want to throw out, and the obligatory mask. You know it's a COVID era video, don't you? Alright, let's keep going. Alright, so the main reason I came in here is to test this little projector setup. So I'll show you what we've got happening here at the moment. So, just as I try and film, everything gets snagged. These HDMI leads, I hate them. Try and pick anything up and the cable is really unruly and stiff. And it's about 2 foot of plastic. Well, actually, well, let's be realistic here. There's about 2 or 3 millimeters of plastic coating and like 0.5 millimeter conductors in there, a whole bunch of them. It's a pain in the rear. Anyway, I've used the upgraded Lucas 2-pin plug. I upgraded this to fit modern ones. I've got that for direct to 12 volts, and that goes down to one of these little, I think these are called Canon plugs. I use them all the time, but I've forgotten the official term for them. Anyway, I'm calling it a Canon plug. That one's going to go into our projector, and our HDMI lead goes to our Raspberry Pi. Our Raspberry Pi is going to be fed 5 volts from one of our phone chargers up here through to this micro USB lead. I flogged off a Garmin GPS because it's got some decent conductors in it. I won't be needing that, and I won't be needing the short lead, and I'm not testing the sound yet. I know that already works. So let's get this plugged in and we'll turn our lights off. We'll pull our back door down and see what happens. We have a green screen on the back here that we could use as projection, but I think we're probably just going to hang a sheet up. Anyway, I need to see if it works out here first. Alright, so I've got the door down and the green lower down, and we can see a picture from there at a pretty comfortable size. That'll be nice. We still have daylight streaming through here, but we do have a blackout curtain as well. Now what I'd like to see, and there is a screen flip function here. Sitting up here is going to be a nearly perfect position for it. That will be nice. Alright, so we will be able to sort of watch low-res videos, but you know, we're camping, so why do we need high-res stuff? We can look out the window for that. So it could be a little noisy up there, but yeah, anyway. Oh, that could be really noisy. I may have to pull that apart and figure that out. Alright, so that gives me an indication that it'll probably work. So what do I need to do now? I need to work out, there's a nice little hole here. I can probably exploit that to make a mounting bracket for the thing. I need to put a few more screws in here, so let me go find some of those. I've probably got some self-tappers that will do the job. Alright, so I have these little chipboard screws, the Maxim brands. A square drive, or as I understand, that's called Robertson screw. I'm going to grab a few of these out. These are not too bad on fiberglass if you've pre-drilled the hole. And I'm just going to set my torque really low so I don't chew out the fiberglass. Alright, let's see how we go with this lot. Alright, so I've got a few screws in here and a few screws in here. These holes unfortunately won't line up. I think they probably did once upon a time, but looking at this little panel gap here tells me somebody previous, is there 2 previous owners before me, between the army and now, somebody's had this off almost completely and put it back on wrong at some point. So I'm not going to fight with that. I do intend to pull this off and sort of inspect what's under there and what can or can't be removed or what can be reinstated. So for the moment that should stay on pretty well. I'm going to reuse this hole. I'm going to find a way to adapt this little projector on here in such a way that it won't fall through. there is a little 6mm mounting hole there, so I might be able to come up with something. Anyway, let's go see what I can engineer. Okay, well, we got it mounted, and I realise I need to clean up here too. I cut a key-shaped hole, and I found that I had some 1/4 inch, which is the same as the thread, or 1/4 inch course on the tripod mount on it. It's the same as tripod mount screws. These are a smidgen short, so I had to pull the LRFs off, and I trimmed down the standoffs by about 2mm, and a little strip of this on the back. So it's holding nice in place. You can see the picture, but not at the moment. We'll turn the lights off and test that in a minute, but we could see it enough to align it. That's not going anywhere, and it's nice and quiet. So for now, I think I'm going to use some duct tape, and it won't look pretty, but I'm going to try and secure this cable probably down into the corner here, and then I'll start trimming leads to the right length, and we'll go from there. Okay, we have everything taped in, which was looking really nice till I realised I had an extra lead I had to pull out. So now my taping job looks horrible, but I'll fix that in a minute. Got a Raspberry Pi in the catheter shelf there. Probably not the most aerodynamically sound place for it, but we'll work with that in a minute. Power's coming from here. Bluetooth speakers are plugged in. Had to plug in a keyboard. We've got the remote, so we'll see if we can flip it upside down. Now this thing will play directly off a memory stick, but it doesn't understand most of the audio codecs, and it certainly doesn't like 4K. So the Raspberry Pi is much better at that. Anyway, let's get all this plugged in and see if we can get some sound happening. So, irritating side effect. When I hit the menu button, it turns on my lights. That's annoying. But I've got the picture the right way up. So now I've just got to work out how to get out of the menu mode. Okay, so another side effect. Doesn't fit in the hole very well with the memory stick in, so I've got a fairly big card in there, so I might get either a compact memory stick or I'll just load them onto the SD card directly. Now, let's see if we can actually play something here. It is getting a little darker, but I think I'm going to have to close that door to see it properly. Alright, I'm not sure how well my GoPro is going to pick this up. The focus is pretty abysmal, but that's to be expected. Let's go to videos and files. I think that's my memory stick, and I think I've got an episode of the Picard on here. I'm not going to play too much of this because of copyright. Not that you can really see anything. Well, it's playing. We can see the video on the end of the green screen, so I might find a white sheet to hang down here. Now, what are we doing about volume? Where's my plus and minus key? Let's go. We've got a bit of sound here. Let's have a look. I'll bring you up a bit.
Maximum volume.
Okay. Now let's turn our thing off. Well, it is sort of going to work. Where's my viewfinder here? This is a pretty dark scene as well, but we're going to have some video. Alright, now I better go find a white screen. See what happens. It's, again, this is a really horrible, it's something like 128 by 256, or what was the old bloody resolution? It's like, I think it's CIF. I think that's what the resolution was. I can't remember what that actually stands for, but yeah. Anyway, let's go find a white sheet and see if this looks any better. Alright, so I found a towel and I've hung it up. I found a spot where it can all magnet on. Let's have a quick look. So we can hang it up with magnets along here, so we'll find something proper to do that, and we'll find a few more hard drive magnets. I fixed the audio amplification problem, and I've got a mouse here so we can bring it all up, and we'll be able to watch this. And it's watchable enough. So yeah, especially for being out bush. Yeah, it saves us having to have a full TV screen in here, and in the future, if this works, we can buy a more expensive higher resolution job. So anyway, I'm going to call this a success. I'm going to turn the lights on. Or we can go tactical lights if we still want to see what we're doing and still watch the movie. But yeah, I'm going to call it a night. Hope you had some fun. And I'll see you in the next one.